This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
Bobbi G is here, excited with transforming your life with Bobbi G. That's right. She's our transitional coach, hypnotherapist, business coach, and also the owner of Hypnosis for Life. She does a lot. She does it all, only to find out today that now she's a mama to a whole bunch of baby puppies. We have a lot in common. We've been talking about our animals in the house, and it's a lot. So I got to ask, how many puppies do you have? Could you tell everyone?
We have 9 puppies, 3 boys, 6 girls. So they were late. I wasn't even here. I left to go on a family vacation. And of course, that's when she had them. We waited for 7 days, but she waited till I left. So
Wait. I was on vacation in April, and my sister was home checking the house, and my cat had the kittens, and unfortunately, a few of
oh,
them died because she didn't know to keep them in one
oh,
spot, whatever. But we have 4
yeah.
out of the 7, and then I have other cats for another litter. So it's like,
Oh,
yeah. What are they waiting for us to leave? I thought we'd be
I
more of a
know.
help and
I know.
guidance to them.
I had to go. My daughter was on her way. My husband was already there, and we waited 7 days. I even took her to the vet that morning, and her progesterone went up. And I'm like, well, what does that mean? When is she going to have them? So I went ahead and took off, and then she had them that night. One was born on the 9th, and the other 8 were born on the 10th. So like right after midnight. Actually, she had 3 that weren't developed enough. So she had 12 altogether. That was I'm kind of proud of the male buckshot because he's 8 years old. So proud of you, son.
God bless. Amazing. Well, it's part of life. It's beautiful. Little souls entering the world and the animal world, the human world, and you're here helping so many humans. Do you help animals as well do you transform their lives too? Are you like a pet medium as well?
That's a thought. Now let me think about that. I haven't ventured into that, but I've always fostered animals. At one point in my life, I wanted to be a vet, so I have a
Yeah.
huge heart for animals. Yeah, so I've always fostered. I would take in pups and get them trained, like get them to sit, and things like that, and then find homes for them and stuff. And a lot of times we would have them either spayed or neutered before we found homes for them. But I've always had a big, huge spot in my heart for animals, all kinds. So I found little baby squirrels, like a flying squirrel on the ground, and brought it home and put it in a box with a heating pad, and I was nursing it, and yeah, I can't help it.
I'm the same way. Oh my gosh. So transforming your life with Bobbi G and the animals too. We're gonna change the name
That's
here.
right.
She
That's
does
right.
it all. For today, I know we were gonna dive into a little more subconscious, right? So just first off, for people
Okay.
who may not even know what you offer, just give us a little overview. Thank you so much.
Okay, yes. Well, I do hypnotherapy, but I'm also a transformational coach because hypnosis really transforms lives. But I also help people, through coaching and things like that to help transform lives. But I also can do phone hypnosis sessions and transformation, by talking, coaching over the phone and things like that. So it's very if somebody is struggling and they don't know why, even that's where the subconscious, we're not quite aware, our conscious mind is not quite aware of what our subconscious is doing half the time, or what's all in there, and especially trauma from childhood and things like that. So this is where the hypnosis comes in to help with the breaking through that critical factor that we discussed and getting into the subconscious level, and that's where change happens, is in the subconscious level. So but it's responsible for so many things. So, but that's where I try to help everyone overcome fears, anxiety. If they're stuck and they're not moving forward in their career, if they're holding themselves back and don't realize it, procrastination, self-sabotage, negative self-talk, phobias, all kinds of things just roadblock us from moving forward. And we don't even realize it most of the time. We're just like, oh, I've tried so hard and I don't get anywhere. I've done this over and over again and nothing's happening. And because your subconscious has somehow got something in there that you're either having triggers or limiting beliefs or things like that are holding you back. So that's part of the transformational side of what I do, is helping people move past their past in a way. So,
I love that. Oh my
right,
gosh.
right.
Yeah. And
Um,
go ahead.
I was gonna say it's extremely humbling for me to be able to help people in this way. I mean, I spent a lot of years overcoming my past, very traumatic past, and it's very rewarding to see them, light up and be able to move forward or get past something in their life that they've had a stumbling block for such a long time over. So, and without even realizing it a lot of times. And that's because even though the subconscious and the conscious mind communicate, oh, I am so sorry, we're not always aware of that. So we're not aware of that communication. We don't even know what's rolling around in our subconscious mind, but it's our past. So things from our childhood. So I am trying to silence my phone. Bear with me. So sorry.
No
Um,
problem.
I don't know what's happening. My
It's
bad.
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, it's okay.
My phone is not cooperating with me. Here it goes. Finally, finally. Nope, I can't do it. Let's just turn it down. Let's just put it away somewhere. Hopefully it won't bother us again. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, it's fine.
Life, it's been a
I'm
crazy
worried about
day.
my cats jumping up. You know how many times the cats jump up here and like they hit stuff on the board, they hit sounds, then I get in trouble from work. I'm like, but you're a pet friendly person, so
Oh, well,
it's
yeah, I won't mind. But I've also got the grandbabies, and one of them is having a fit. And my husband
ah.
came home because he knew I was going to be doing this. So I don't know what he's doing, but he's trying to calm him down. So I'm just sitting here going, okay, what else? What else? What else can we throw in today? So that would be more than exciting.
Mm-mm-mm. Well, I just love your work that you're doing as a hypnotherapist, and there's so much that people can learn, can do, can change with their lives, and it's just a modality that I feel like I've heard about like years in the past, and then I didn't hear about it much, and now it's like coming back again. It's always been there, it's always worked, but I
Right.
really feel that people, can benefit from this. I've heard, your stories. I know people who've been hypnotized, and it also what I like about it, which I feel like it's helping more people with, is like not just the basics, which it is basic, but it's big, like the weight loss, the smoking, stopping the phobias,
Right.
but like to help with their past, to get over their past emotions and traumas, right?
hmm hmm Yeah, digging deep. That's regression therapy, which is what I specialize in. Actually, probably everybody can use regression therapy because if they're having bad habits, even smoking, um, weight gain, things like that, there's a reason. I just had a client call me because she wants to come back for a touch up, she called it. But basically, I said, you know what, we may have to go deeper. Because there's a reason why you're probably emotionally eating. And we need to probably get in there and find out what it is and neutralize that. Then you'll be able to, um, live out the healthy habits that you do for most of the day until evening hits. And, her husband wants to have ice cream. So she has a bowl of ice cream with him. Well, okay, but then she doesn't want to, so then she feels remorse about it, but something is blocking her, and it's her subconscious, and we don't know what it is because we haven't got in there and looked around yet. I know I kind of say it like that, but it's true. Um, and just really see like what might be blocking her from not being able to have the willpower to say no or choose a healthier snack like I don't know, grapes, raisins, just something different, not the cake and ice cream situation which she's finding herself into more often than not. So but yeah, she'll be as soon as the puppies get out of my office.
Oh
Clients
my
will be
God.
back in my office, so another week and I'll be able to move them out of the office. So it's the only place I had to put them. But they wanted me to keep them away from my other big dogs. So I said,
Wow.
okay.
Oh
So
my goodness. Well, what about with animals? Can you work any of this on the animals?
I don't know, but that's interesting. I know they do massage and chiropractic and stuff to animals. I don't know why you couldn't do some kind of I don't know. That's interesting. That's really interesting, Jill, because dogs do understand words. And, they teach dogs to, hit the little buttons and talk to their humans. And it's very interesting because they actually put together 3-word sentences, their name and want and whatever they want, go outside, play, something like that. So that's very interesting. I know you can do things with children if you sneak into their room without them being aware and giving them positive, healthy suggestions, and then sneaking back out to help them. Like if they're having, okay, say you have a child struggling with testing in school, then you could sneak in their room without them being aware while they're asleep, because you're going to reach their subconscious, and do this maybe every other night. But get in there and just like, you'll be confident when you take your test. You will be ready with your answers. You won't feel nervous. Things like that. You can. My phone is not going to behave. I am so sorry. Let me just throw it away. Throw it out the window. But you can do things like that with children. I've entertained the thoughts of doing that with spouses, but I don't know. That's just a don't pay attention to that. So, you could, when somebody's asleep, you could give them positive suggestions. That's why people listen to hypnosis and meditation and stuff when they go to bed, because it reaches the subconscious level and it creates change. And that's what hypnosis is widely used for, is to create change, positive change. When it's not used for like in police situations and things like that, where they're trying to jog somebody's memory as to what happened or something like that. So hypnosis is used in a lot of different ways, even as far as pain relief. Some people can't have anesthesia and things like that, so they use hypnosis in surgeries and things like that. It's extremely effective and very powerful way to help people get through a situation in their life. So it's amazing. I am amazed by it all the time, by my clients' ability to overcome, and that just fills me with joy. But the way they use hypnosis today for lots of other things is just it's hard to compare that to really anything else.
Got it. Well, I also, with the work we've talked so many times, it's been quite a few shows we've had here,
Yeah.
and it's, I've gotten to know you on a personal level, and I love hearing, some of the stories of the people that you've been helping get through this as well. And now let me ask, as you're doing your life coaching, and more so than hypnosis, but the relationship aspect of people, do you help people a lot as a coach? And what's the difference with going to someone who is a coach compared to a therapist, if you don't mind me? Because I feel like a lot of people have relationship struggles and issues all the time. That's something that's been going on for years.
Right, exactly. And that's a good question, because a coach is, um, depending on the reason that people are going to therapy. So, therapy where you sit down and you talk about your issues and your problems in the past and what's happened and things like that. But with coaching, it would be more, what do you want to achieve? Where do you want to go? You know what I mean? Not so much talking about the past and what has happened, and then how do we overcome, and maybe they've got some great ideas, and I'm sure they do, on how to move past certain issues, or things like I don't know, if you procrastinate and stuff like that. That's kind of an easy one to pick on, but or but negative self-talk and things like that, that's where mindfulness comes in, and you just need to be aware and catch yourself when you're doing these type of things. So coaching, on the one hand, would be more of meeting you where you are right now and then going where you want to be. Do you know what I mean? And therapy is more, where have you been? You know what I mean? I know where you want to go, but we deal with where you've been and how to overcome and get past that. And then coaching is, okay, let's start here and move that direction, move forward. So there's that little bit of a difference right there. So which it's depending on what somebody wants to overcome or accomplish. Hypnosis deals with the past to get you to where you want to go. Do you know what I mean? So hypnosis is a great tool to cover both of those aspects. along with the coaching is I allow my clients to talk when they first come in and just let them talk because they've got to unload. They've got to let the pressure off. It helps them relax when we're ready to do the hypnosis session itself. But a lot of it is in the beginning is the coaching and the letting them talk and seeing where they're coming from and how their relationships, whether with their family, their parents, that type of thing. Were they positive, negative? You've got to kind of find out what's there, and that helps me decide how to phrase suggestions and stuff to them for whatever they're coming to me about. So most of my clients, like I said, have anxiety, and anxiety is extremely uh, hypnosis is extremely effective for anxiety. I think I've read about 97%, which is pretty good for anxiety. Now, there are conditions that are beyond what hypnosis can handle, as far as I know. Extreme depression, like medical depression, um, personality disorders, things like that. I haven't read anywhere where people are trying to use hypnosis to effectively alter those, states of mind. So if you've got those serious things going on, then you need to seek medical attention other than something like probably hypnosis or something simple like meditation and things like that. So, because there are other ways to do, things that are more
Interesting.
serious. Yeah. Even
Now,
I have a disclaimer on my website. Don't, if you've got something serious, personality disorder wise or something, then, you need to do something else other than hypnosis. So,
well, let me ask, could you share what happened in your story with your pain, what you went through while you're here? Some people may not have, know that, but I know you specialize with women and children issues as well as regression. But tell us again that story about you and how you had trouble in life, because it relates to all of us.
yes. You want to know my whole life story or you just want to know the highlights?
Sure, if you want, but I remember you told me something about a setback in your life where you couldn't even get out of bed for a while.
Yes, I woke up one day and couldn't get out of bed, and I was bedridden for about 2 years. So, during all that downtime, I realized I have a line on my website that says, one day I lost everything, and that's when I found myself. And it's really true because when I could not do anything, I couldn't get out of bed, I couldn't do anything, I just didn't function. And I started to realize that I didn't like myself very much. I was very angry. I was very resentful. I was type A plus 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 personality. I was just really um, controlling and perfectionist, that type of thing. I mean, I wasn't a bad person, but I just had all these very strong negative reactions and stuff because of, like I said, what I've been through in my past. So, which was a very traumatic childhood with my father being an alcoholic and drugged and raped when I was 15. Car accident when I was 19 put me in the hospital for a month. I had panic attacks from that for 15 years. So I had a lot going on for my short period of life that I had lived so far. So when I realized I didn't like myself and I wasn't as nice as I could be, I started working on myself and I started buying all the books and reading everything. And I started being very mindful and changing. I had hypnosis in the past for the car accident, for the panic attacks, but this I was doing on my own. Now, it didn't happen overnight. It's not as
Hmm.
quick as hypnosis would be, but I started being very mindful of my behavior. So I've come a long way since then, obviously, and now it's like, oh yeah, life is good, life is great, and I'm proud to say I'm no longer type A plus 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 personality. I'm more like I don't know, be positive. So I just like to stay on the happy side of life now, but didn't didn't see the little things before, but it was a huge, huge transformation in my life to overcome my past, which had so many devastating, traumatic things. I think even while I was in the womb, I think I've been regressed back to the womb, and um, I'm not always happy. So I think it was because my father was just so angry. I don't know how best to describe him. He was just very mad all the time about everything. So that tends to rub off on children. As we discussed before, 80% at least of people think that their family is dysfunctional. Chances are they're going
Yeah.
to pass that on, right? They're going to pass that on to their children and their children and their children and their children. So I had the wisdom, thank the good Lord, at a young age to realize when I had children, they were going to know that I loved them because I grew up thinking my parents, I didn't even know why my parents had children. It's like,
Aw.
I felt like it wasn't loved. So that's not a good thing for a child to feel. So I decided when I had children, and I've only had one, that they were going to know that I love them. And my daughter has taken that tenfold with her children. So I'm very proud of the fact that I broke that cycle of dysfunction in that respect. Now I wasn't the greatest parent when she was young because I was still suffering from my past. So, but she realizes now that I've gotten over all of that anger and resentment and you know, getting mad over little things stuff. So now I just laugh if somebody spills their milk. I'm laughing about it, because I think it's funny now,
Right?
whereas decades ago I probably would have been hysterical. So and upset, but not now.
Oh my
Life is so
goodness.
much better in my neck of the woods. So yep,
I love it. Well, it's beautiful here that all can heal. We can all benefit. We can all live our best lives. And that's what it's all about. And
it is.
that's part of why
It's
you're here. I love it.
Yes, yes. It's oh, when I was talking to my client, I said, "Don't let your body control your brain." I'm like, your brain needs to control you. You need to remember that. It's not your body that's in control. It's not your craving for sweets that's in control. You are in control. So it's great to overcome those hurts from the past so we can really, really be our authentic self, but also be um, able to make good decisions, raise our self-esteem, which is huge. It dictates every decision we make, everything we do is based on how we feel about ourselves. And so I came up with this self-esteem kind of model where I'm going to tell you about it if you don't mind. Where somebody's riding the wave. Okay, that's a realistic high self-esteem. Not arrogant. No, just feel good about themselves. Then there's somebody coming up the backside of the wave, trying to come up the wave. They go back and forth. They're good, and then they slide back, and they're good, and they slide back. Then you've got the person over here at the end of the wave, getting ready to have the whole thing crash down on them. Okay, not a good place to be. You feel like life is crashing down on you, nothing goes right, da 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 da. Then there's the person kind of maybe in the middle of the wave, just overwhelmed by life, just don't know which way to go, what way to turn. So the one who's things are crashing down on them, depends on how depressed they are with all of that and how dark their thoughts might be. They might need, more professional medical attention and maybe some medication to help get their chemicals working correctly again. But the person who's in the middle of the wave and just feels overwhelmed, definitely hypnosis, self-hypnosis, mindfulness, meditation, things like that can help. And then the person who's trying to get on the top and ride that wave at the realistic high self-esteem, they are probably the majority of the people that do come for hypnosis because they just can't seem to get there and they just don't know why. So this is where I just so enjoy what I do to help people overcome their past and leave it where it belongs in the past. It doesn't eliminate the memories. What it does is it neutralizes the emotions. Because I've told you before, memories, not memories, events are neutral. All events are neutral. It's the emotion we assign to them. If we assign a negative emotion, it keeps replaying in a loop. And that's where the triggers come from, the limiting beliefs, that sort of thing. That's where all that comes from. And that's what holds us back from living our best life. But if we assign a positive emotion, it just gets filed away. But everything stays a memory. You don't lose your memories. We just neutralize the negative emotions of the ones that we've, assign the fear or the stress or the something to, and the trauma, the more traumatic events in our life. And that is where people start to overcome and get past things because they've been able to neutralize those events. This is where hypnosis is extremely effective. So that's the best I can do as far as, helping people get over their past is by neutralizing those events. So get them up on the top of that wave. So
Thank you so much. Bobbi G, Hypnotherapy. How do we contact you?
okay, my phone number is 828-695-9018, and my website is under construction, but it is bobbig.com, and that's BOBBIG.com.
Perfect. Thank
Just in
you
case
so
somebody
much.
spells it with an E. So.
All right. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, sweetheart. Bye-bye.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.